Hey guys, welcome to this heart opening sequence. This sequence helps you get comfortable in the more vulnerable poses, bringing you a new confidence in your practice and daily life. Let's get started. So come into a seated pose, cross your legs, and just let your hands fall onto your knees. And take a few deep breaths here. Then, using your breath, inhale, look up, arching the back, and come into a cat-cow sort of motion. Inhaling, look up. Exhale, rounding the spine, coming forward. We'll do this a couple times at your own pace. Then come back to neutral and start to make a circular motion with your chest, letting your chest come forward, the head fall back, and then circling around, letting the head fall forward and the back arching. Then come back to neutral and start to go the other way. Really warming up the spine before we get started. Then come back to neutral. Find your way into a child's pose. Tuck the feet under and just slowly come down to your mat. Your hands reach out forward and your forehead comes to lay down on the ground. Feel the stretch on the bottoms of your feet. Come up onto all fours into tabletop position. Keeping the toes tucked, we'll inhale the right arm up to the sky and needle it through under the armpit, bringing your temple down to the mat. If you'd like, you can stay here or bring the left arm up and over your back to just sit on top of your right thigh. And release, come back to center, and we'll do the other side. This time the right arm goes up and comes through underneath the armpit, bringing the temple down to the floor. Again, option to stay here, or the right arm comes over the back and just sits on the left upper thigh. Then coming back to all fours, we'll just do a cat-cow in tabletop. Inhaling, look up, dropping the belly. Exhale, dropping the head, rounding the spine. Then untuck the toes and sit back into a child's pose, coming forward up into cobra. And just hold here for a moment. Then tucking the feet under, push yourself back into a downward dog. This is the first one of the class, so make any adjustments that you need to. Walking out the dog, wiggling the hips, whatever you need here. Then come forward and lower yourself down all the way to the mat. And then bringing the arms out ahead, we're going to lift the legs and the arms up into Locust Pose. And just hold. Make sure that you're breathing. And release all the way down. Let the forehead come to rest on your mat. Then reach your arms back, bend the knees, and connect with the ankles and push up into floor bow. Make sure you're breathing and kick into your hands to push up a little bit further. Then release, come all the way down, allowing your forehead to come down to the mat. Then find your way into Child's Pose. We'll just take a moment here. Then come up onto your knees and we'll set up for Camel Pose. So bring your hands to the bottom of your back and just lean back so your head is dropping behind you. Push the hips forward. You can either stay right here, or if you'd like and feel comfortable, you can reach back to the heels with both hands, keeping the hips forward, dropping the head. And then when you're ready, bring the hands back to the back and slowly come up. Come into a seated position. Spread the legs out wide, and then the right bottom of your foot comes to your upper left thigh. And swoop back with the right hand behind you into Modified Wild Thing. Then release, come down, and switch legs. Feeling the openness of the chest, the throat, and even the hips. Release back down to the floor. And bring your knees up. And slowly Come down to the floor and we'll set up for bridge pose. So bring the feet in closer to your bottom, lifting the hips off the ground, pushing to the sky for a low bridge. Bring your hips down to the mat and just stay here for a moment. Then ground down your heels, push the hips up. For a deeper stretch, bring the shoulders underneath you and push up into the hips for a high bridge. Then releasing the shoulders out from underneath, bring the hips down to the ground. We'll do this one more time. Option to stay in low bridge or high bridge, or you can set up for wheel pose. So bring the hands beside the ears, and when you're ready, push up into wherever you are. And then release, come back down to the ground. Bring your right knee into your right armpit and then send over to the left side. Reaching out to the right for a nice supine twist. Release, come back to center, giving the knee just another little squeeze before you sending it down. Bring the right knee into the left knee into the left armpit and send it over to the right, reaching out to your left for supine twist on the left side. Release, giving the left knee one last squeeze into the other armpit and release it down to the ground. We'll come into Savasana, allowing the feet to fall outwards, the hands to rest beside the body, and the head to feel heavy into your mat. And just breathe. When you're ready, slowly roll onto your right side. And just pause here for a moment before you come up to seated. When in seated, we'll just take a deep breath, rise the hands to the sky, and then hands at forehead center, hands at heart center. Namaste. Thank you everyone for coming, and I hope you have a lovely day.